Hello and thank you for joining the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, after 13 days in captivity, 75 abducted students of Government Day Secondary School Kaya regained freedom as bandits attack military base in Zamfara State, killed 12 security personnel. Court fixes 17th of September for arraignment of 400 suspected terrorism sponsor. And later on the show, Novak Djokovic becomes emotional wreck as Medvedev crushes him in US Open final. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mayor Akipelu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. It's cheering and sad news in our battle with armed banditry across Nigeria in the last few hours. In Zamfara State, bandits released 75 abducted students of Government Day Secondary School, Kaya, in Maradun local government area of the state after 13 days in captivity. In a sad tale, armed bandits attack a military base in the state, leaving 12 gallant security personnel dead and 3 wounded. Babajide is still a big challenge in spite of the onslaughts against them, in spite of the heartwarming stories we've been hearing about, our security men trying to forestall the menace of these bandits. They are still operating actively in some other states and even particularly Zamfara State.
Yes, and we've been advising the military to keep their eyes on the ball, to stay focused, to not jubilate too early, because we have this attitude of jubilating too early. And from our experience with Boko Haram elements, sometimes when we think that we've decimated them, that we defeated them, somehow they will launch one terrible attack on our troops, which will send the message that, look, these guys are still up to some level of mischief. So even yesterday, I was saying that, look, the best thing, let's encourage the troops to stay focused, keep their eyes on the ball. Let's stop thinking that these guys have been defeated. Let's behave like the war has just begun. A lot of us Nigerians were very excitable. But in this kind of war, let's not deceive ourselves. There will be setbacks. You can't win this war without setbacks. The enemy that you are fighting against will not simply fold his arms. They will also take the battle to you. And let's not imagine that because we have recorded some successes, then this enemy has no way of responding or fighting back. No. We keep making this mistake. But,
attacking military bases in Zamfara is quite daring. Killing 12 people.
But it's not the first time. Even in Katsina, they've attacked soldiers before. I always talk about that attack in Shimfida, where they killed 18 soldiers, including a captain. This is not unheard of. Bandits attacking the military is not unheard of. It's happened in the past. Because they have the weapons. When you look at some of the weapons that they have, even some of those weapons, our soldiers don't even carry some of the grade of weapons that you see in their hands. Some NATO weapons that came into our country through Chad and Niger, all the way from Mali. You will even see NATO written on some of them. And some of them are even advanced grade of some of the weapons that the Nigerian army uses. That just came into our country all the way from Libya, which has extensive border with Niger Republic, and then Chad. So with those countries, especially Niger, that we have extensive borders with, almost 900 kilometers. You can imagine that our border being porous, these weapons will come in. Some of them are really superior weapons. Let's tell ourselves the truth. So, and when you have those weapons, it tends to give you confidence to take on anyone. So this is not the first time that soldiers will be killed. Even in Gwari, Google it. You see when they killed Nigerian soldiers in their sleep on a particular day. In Niger, they've attacked army bases before, 2 times. Even set the army bases ablaze. So it's not as if these bandits don't have the capability to take on the army. Let nobody deceive himself. You know, and it's not the first time. It's not new, and it will not be the last. But we have to stay focused. Let's not begin to jubilate like, look, the enemy has been defeated. I've heard people say, oh, the way we are going, within 3 days, we are going to crush these guys. But in that area where this attack happened, it happened in the Dansadao area. The most dangerous forest in our country is in Dansadao. And this is the same area where they shot down the Alpha Jet. It is a Maru local government. Maru local government is one of the biggest local governments in Nigeria. In fact, when I was checking, I saw that it is 6,654 square kilometers, which means that that local government is bigger than all the states in the southeast except Enugu State. That's one local government, and the bulk of it is forest. So when you are chasing them, they have an expansive area within which they can hide and all that. So this is a battle that you cannot win quickly. You just have to be focused, be patient. Let's focus on what we are doing and not be distracted. That is just my message to the armed forces.
Mayor Akikpelu, in Kogi State, 240 inmates, that men stormed the Kaba Custodial Center, but investigations are still into, 240 inmates were said to be forcibly released, and they invaded that place. Knowing Kogi State, that's a state that borders so many other states, that they have a track record for, a state being a state that you hardly hear of banditry, invasion, Boko Haram cells, that the governor has been quite proactive.
Let me say that before now, Kogi State was very terrible when it comes to security. I remember the time that I went for a party in Moba. I have to go with policemen. It was that bad. Kidnapping was very high in Kogi State. But one thing you have to give to Yaya Bello is that he was able to put a security architecture in place that was able to control that insecurity. The level of insecurity in Kogi is not like what you see in Niger or what you will see in Katsina.
It's part of the location of Kogi.
So whatever, he was able to put a security architecture in place. So I think that the attack is more like sabotage. It's like some people who wants to prove a point. Because I cannot fathom the reason for going to Kogi to go and attack the correctional center. I can understand when you want to attack a correctional center, whether maybe Boko Haram elements are being detained in that particular place, and Boko Haram soldiers want to attack the place so that they can release their men. I can understand when HIPOP, at the height of HIPOP municipality in the east, yes, they could attack correctional centers to prove a point. I cannot understand why anybody will want to attack Kogi Correctional Center. If not that is why this government has to be very careful. It seems that it's a third force that seems to create problem for government. I think because when you look at what has happened, when you look at what happened, the army base that was attacked, you will see that the idea is to water down whatever achievements the military were able to create in Zamfara. Because in recent days, we'll be hearing a lot of the operation that's going there, how things were moving on well. And all of a sudden, though I believe that operationally, the military made a mistake. Because if you know that this is an area where an Alpha Jet was shot down, you cannot have an outpost that can be easily overrun like that. I think it's an operational mistake. Because the essence of the outpost is supposed to be your first line of defense. And for you to allow bandits who are being attacked, who have been having long days, to be able to come and make that statement, because that is a major statement for the bandits, to say, look, we still have the capability to hurt him. And I think it's an operational mistake by the military.
Julie, still talking about this Kogi Kaba prison attack. What do you make of it?
It's not the first time that gunmen will go to Kogi State and free prisoners. It's happened a number of times. The bloodiest that I remember was on November 3rd, 2014, when they went to Kotonkarfi to free 144 prisoners. What bandits and terrorists do is, if they have some of their men in your custody and they study the security environment, they will go there and free people. Kotonkarfi prison has been attacked a number of times. You know, there was a time that Boko Haram had cells, active cells in Kogi State. This governor had to fight the active cells, even in his own Kogi Central. That's Ibira land, because it was the heartbeat of it. And then, because Kogi shares border with Nasarawa in the Abaji area, that is the most dangerous local government in Kogi State. So many attacks. There was a general that was killed recently on his way to Abuja. That is if you look at the record of banditry in Kogi, it is this Kotonkarfi Abaji area, that is where most of these attacks happen. The bulk of banditry in Kogi happens in that area. And now what I heard was that they moved some prisoners from Kotonkarfi prison to the Kaba, between Kaba and Kebukun, and then clearly they wanted to free their colleagues who are there. And when you have weapons and you've done some reconnaissance, you can tell yourself that, look, if I have 50 people who are well armed, we can overrun this place. And that's what happened. So Kogi remains a kind of tinderbox. We have not defeated banditry in Kogi State. Some of the recent events will now tell everyone that, look, as much as the governor is trying his best, it is still a big problem. Along the border with Edo State, for example, the Akoko Edo area, the Auchi area, a lot of banditry still taking place. And then our border with Niger, Kogi's border with Nasarawa State, that's the most problematic area. The governor even had to build a road leading into the den of bandits in Nasarawa State, so that security men will be able to have access to their camp. They'll be able to move into that state. He has had to move into neighboring states to tackle bandits who will not give people rest in Kogi State. So that Nasarawa, the border with Nasarawa, there's a big problem with, and this Kotonkarfi area that's around where we have that boundary. So my suspicion, after I heard what happened today, is that the movement of some of the prisoners from Kotonkarfi prison to Kaba was what prompted them to go there and free some of their men. They've done that. It's not the first time that they've done that in Kogi State. As I have said, it just means that, look, we still have a long way to go with defeating these guys. All the talk about, in 3 days we'll finish this war, is only people who are not familiar with this kind of war that will be saying all of those things. I've had people post that, we've not had any banditry in Zamfara for the past also. They say lie. Even as they were being attacked in Katsina and in Zamfara, they were still picking people. They're still kidnapping people. So we still have a long way to go. Let's just tell ourselves that this is a long battle ahead for us, but we should be focused on defeating the enemy. That should be our focus.
I'm sure
they said they've captured like 100 of those
yes, I think the governor was able to initiate some strategy between the DSS, the army, and the commissioner of police there, and then in accordance with, along with local vigilante groups and hunters and all that, and I learned that they have succeeded in capturing over 100 children who are back. And I'm sure that very soon they will still be able to get more, because when you are released like that as a prisoner and you have not planned for it, except you are a part of the group that came to free you, who will now take you back to wherever base they came from. You are helpless. You'll be in the prison for a long time. You may not even be
very vulnerable.
Yeah,
most of them would like to come back.
Yeah, may not be in that.
They want to come back.
Yes.
To the prison, Abi.
So it's difficult for them.
Maybe you are serving a term and you have almost finished your term, and someone just comes, they free you and all that. No, you want to finish your term because it is a separate offense when you jump, you do jailbreak. So they will come back. They have nowhere to go for a lot of them. But the people came to free them. They were targeting their own
hardened ones.
Those ones that they are targeting. Those ones won't come back.
I have Debo is calling us from Ogun State. Thank you for staying with us, Debo.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Debo.
Please, two things. I want to beg Kolade Ochitoju to please stop differentiating between Boko Haram elements and bandits. The difference between them is the difference between 6 and half a dozen. Boko Haram does not have any ideology that is different from bandits. The ideology is just ideology of bloodletting, and that is just a fact. You know, I can even hear him using them interchangeably. So I think banditry is an euphemism for terrorism. They are just the same. That is one. Secondly, what baffles me is that why did the government of this country wait till things get bad? Now they are now deploying, massively, deploying men, deploying machinery. Why did we have to wait? What were they waiting for to happen before they now woke up too late?
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
Nigerians are so obsessed.
They want you to because they kill because they don't want you to differentiate it. They want to just lump them together.
There's a difference between bandits.
There's a difference between. I don't understand. And it is.
We said it yesterday.
Someone came. A journalist came on this program, and I challenged the journalist to read out the dictionary meaning of a bandit and that of a terrorist. What is the ideology of Dogogide? He has no ideology. We're just making money. There is no terrorist group.
They don't want to take territories. They want to
make money.
Those bandits in the northwest, they have dozens of groups, disparate groups here and there. Terrorists don't operate like that. They don't operate like that. Disparate groups with their leader.
Terrorists have an ideology.
They have an ideology
that they are fighting for.
You see, the way Nigerians are thinking is, because they have the weapons to bring down a plane, then they must be a terrorist group. No, that is not the thing, and you cannot. You
can't change it.
You can't change it.
The mistake people are making is that it is easy for you to buy equipment from Libya.
Yes.
If you have the money to be able to buy, so yes. You can have a surface-to-air missile. You can buy it and you can bring down a jet.
Mayor, during the Gulf War, a farmer, he was on his farm and he shot down an American helicopter. Farmer, with an AK-47, you can bring down an aircraft. If you fire, if it's flying low and it hits the right place, maybe where there's no thick armor, it will come down. You can bring down a plane with an AK-47, and every individual with some level of weapons handling training can use an AK-47.
Address that now. Now, Boko Haram, the difference between Boko Haram and this bandits.
It's ideology.
It's ideology. A terrorist group has a mission and an ideology. And most terrorist groups, they are not motivated by the desire to make money.
No.
The terrorist group, the Muslim fundamentalist group of Algeria, that won election and they were not allowed to take power. They became a terrorist group immediately. They were beheading people. They are not after money. They will not kidnap you to take money from you.
In fact, why they got involved?
Yes.
Why they got involved in a form of criminal was because they needed to raise funds. They needed to raise funds to do those things. To do the ideology that they were pursuing.
Yes.
So they started doing some other things.
Boko Haram will kidnap.
Yeah, Boko Haram started doing that.
Boko Haram will kidnap for money.
Yes, for them to be able to make money.
Yes. They needed the money to buy weapons and all that.
But bandits are different from
their ideology is still there.
They want to split their Islamic Republic and
that's an idea. Yes, they believe that this is
by Sharia.
Sharia. Yes. They want to have their own territory.
Whether in Somalia and other places where we have terrorist groups, there is an ideology behind the ISIS. You can't tell me the ISIS has not got ideology, or the ISIS is simply there to make money. No, when ISIS took over,
you cannot say that the Taliban don't have ideology.
Yes,
they want to like that.
That's why immediately they came in. They said this is the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan.
Yes. So
and they are focused on Islamic rule. They are focused. Women who should not work
Islamic rules.
You cut your beard. So so there are so many people, but they want us to simply because they can bring down a plane. No, I told them, I said, because they are wicked, they kill people. Armed robbers too are wicked. So armed robbers terrorists. It is the motivation. It is the thing by which you are identified that determines how a group is characterized. I don't understand. On Facebook, people attack me.
We'll continue to enlighten people.
If today you want me to simply say, oh, they are terrorists, it revolts against my training as someone who went to school, who can read and understand whatever he reads. To call a bandit a terrorist, I will not. With a gun to my neck. As long as that's the definition for it, I challenge the person. I say, open the dictionary. Let's read it to people.
Now, Governor El-Rufai appeals for calm over killing of a pastor in Zango, Kataf local government area of Kaduna State. That's another volatile area.
I don't know what government is going to do in that area, because the problem in that place seems not to abate. But it is better for us to face bandits than to add religious dimension to it, because immediately there is a religious dimension to it, there is a major problem. There's a major problem. So I also want to appeal to people not to want to take revenge, because you can handle bandits, but when it becomes a religious or disagreement, people don't think about it. It's they are more emotional when it comes to religion, and we should not add that to the mix in Kaduna State.
Babajide, we still have to talk about this 75 abducted students. We thank God 13 days after in captivity they've been released, and it's a relief. It's a big relief. UNICEF even reacted and saying that, look, this is a big setback when they were when they were abducted.
You can see them. The governor was talking to them last night.
Oh, Governor Matawalle.
Yes.
Last night.
Yes. He said what we must do is to stop them from to stop these people from having access to these children. If there are schools in the hinterland, just close those schools.
Just close those schools.
Move the children. That's what Borno State has done.
More and more difficult.
When did you read that in Borno State students were kidnapped since Chibok? That's why the governor is building giant schools with dozens of classrooms to accommodate those who can no longer go to school in the hinterland. That is the thing. The safety of these children is important.
These are very small girls.
Yes, boys and girls. They just went, the governor wept. And this is his local government. Maradun is his local government. It's one of the most dangerous local governments in Zamfara. You know?
These are kids.
That's the thing.
In the last 13 days.
They would have gone through hell.
What would they eat? The bandits, they don't even have food to eat.
They take drugs. They too don't have access to food now. So but you know, once we relax a little bit, then they will feel some level of respite. They will start stockpiling again. That's why the bombing should continue.
That's what I said is the operational strategy. The same mistake that the army made during the time of Boko Haram, that's the same mistake they are making with the bandits.
But as we close this segment now, we want to talk about this. It has been on the pipeline. 400 BDC operators. Finally, they are taking them to courts. You said it.
In the last few weeks we've been asking. We've been piling pressure.
This happened in Dubai, and they
provided us with the evidence that we need.
So and the federal government just went silent at a point in time. Now they are saying they are taking them to court. Good news.
In fact, it's taking too long. If something happened in the first quarter of the year, and we are just taking them to court now, I don't understand why it's taking so long. But the good thing is, at least we are taking them to court now.
But it's better late than never. Because you see, financial crime is not like a normal a normal violence that you do. This is a financial crime. And it's important for government to be very, because the terms for financial crime is very low. So it's important for government to be able to have all their facts together. What is important is that they are taking them to court. Because part of the problem that we have in Boko Haram, part of the problem is that the funding is not from here. All these rich Arabs who believe in this Islamic fundamentalism, they are always straighting money down to these people. And that money comes from these Bureau people. So if government will have evidence and they are taking them to court now, it's a very good news. It's better late than never.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. This is Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Still on insurgency and their sponsors. It's been argued in many quarters that for the fight against insurgency in Nigeria to end, the government must tackle that's the root cause. In this regard, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed 17th of September for the arraignment of 400 suspects over alleged involvement in sponsorship of terrorism. Earlier in March, the presidency had announced that the arrest of the suspects, who are mainly bureau de change operators, for allegedly facilitating transfer of money to Boko Haram terrorists from the United Arab Emirates. Babajide, now, the commentators that have been trailing these stories, they've been telling us that it's not possible for us to fight terrorism effectively without getting to the roots, who are the sponsor, following the money. And we've not been able to do that since 2009. So right now, this is the first time we're going to see something like this.
Yes, and it was down to the help we received from the
majorly
from the UAE people, because these funds were being moved from Nigeria. Moved the funds from Nigeria to the UAE. So from the UAE, they will now send to Boko Haram. That was what was happening. And already some Nigerians have been arrested. You know, they put some Nigerians on trial in their country. So this was the catalyst for the action that we have taken as a country, because we just felt that, look, we needed to move. UAE has already given us more than a hint that, look, funds were being funneled to Boko Haram by some bureau de change operators here. They make the funds available to those bureau de change operators, who will now send it to Dubai. From Dubai, it will now be sent to Boko Haram. So clearly, Boko Haram had international connection from the look of things.
Especially their wing, the ISWAP.
Yes, especially with the affiliation to ISWAP. But from the look of things, this had even been happening before ISIS officially embraced Boko Haram in August 2016 and made it one of his affiliates, and then removed Shekau as the leader and made Abu Musab al-Banawi the leader. So we can't wait. The pressure was intense. Even Femi Falana had to write to the Attorney General. What's going on? What's going on? You see, when you leave this, when somebody provides you with the leads and you fail to take action, it's taking too long to take action, even those people won't be excited to help again. America, we saw on the day that the Tucanos were inducted, the Americans said, see, we can help you identify sponsors of terrorism in your country. We are prepared to help. Because this thing can't go on without some sponsors. Weapons are expensive.
To sustain them.
Weapons are expensive. So who are the people providing them with the weapons that they have to attack the army to overrun army bases and steal weapons there. You know, you must have people within our country, even banditry that we are talking about. America said it can help us to unravel some of these people. You see those dirty-looking guys.
Yes, collecting 700 million naira to do what?
They are not the ones behind it. They are not the ones behind it. The people behind it, those ones don't even go into the bush. There was a bandit that was arrested who said that they give them as low as 5,000 naira.
Those are the agad ones.
People who had collected millions, so giving the foot soldiers as little as 5,000 naira.
What a mess.
So we need to identify these people. And once we identify them, we put them on trial. Not just these guys. Boko Haram members have been arrested over the years. Consistently, we've arrested them. But how many have we put on trial for Nigerians to see? Chad does not have this patience with us, with Boko Haram. Chad arrested Boko Haram men, they put them on trial, and the next thing, they wasted them.
Mayor, it's time to address the sponsors.
I'm very happy that they're taking these people to court. Because you see, when you are looking at terrorism and terrorists, it is not the foot soldiers that are very important. What is important is the money. If you follow the money and you can cut that source of funding off, you have won half of that battle. Because without funding, they cannot take care of their logistics and things that they need to be able to operate. So those people who are the sponsors are more important than the foot soldiers. I don't know whether they still do it now. There was a time every week, they take huge amount of money from Lagos to Dubai. If you remember that there was an armed robbery incident that happened at the airport. I was at the airport that day.
I remember.
That day. Yes. Because they were moving the money, and those people, that the armed robbers that were supposed to come and attack those people, the Borodeshon people, and collect the money, they were delayed a little bit by traffic. So by the time they got to that Borodeshon office beside the airport, they've already moved the money inside the airport. So they got there, started shooting and all that. Because they used to move huge amount of money from Lagos to Dubai. So immediately they move it to Dubai, because they now naturally to Boko Haram. So it is those people who are funding them, who send the money from Nigeria to Dubai. Those are the real dangerous elements that we should go after.
Why
this is a beginning.
Citizens be sponsoring Boko Haram that has killed scores of people?
Yeah, it has to do with ideology.
Ideology, no.
You see, that's why a bandit is different from a terrorist. A terrorist has an ideology. He has money. He's rich. He's a millionaire. He's a billionaire. But he has an ideology that he believes in and is ready to fund those people.
No, you see, the Al-Shabaab, some of them had jobs, big jobs in American corporations. They gave up their jobs.
Global design, yes.
They gave up their jobs and came home.
Yeah.
They came home, not that they were even sending money home. They gave up fantastic jobs, big people, and came down to become Al-Shabaab fighters. I remember
even in France, the guy that is being, terrorism that happened, they are trying them now. The head of those who have been tried in Paris now, said he resigned his job. He's a tech expert. He said he resigned his job to become an ISIS fighter. It's ideology. When somebody wears a bulletproof vest, when somebody wears a bulletproof vest to go and to become a suicide bomber, you understand? It's ideology. He believes that, okay, this is what I believe in.
He's been brainwashed.
So if I die, I've
been brainwashed.
So it's the ideology.
I have Okudili from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Okudili.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, Mr. Ayo. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening. Go ahead, you're live, Okudili.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, you're live.
Okay, yes. Now, I wanted to say, please, your studio, this program, you allow for calling. So I wanted to say, please, it's an advice to you people. When people call in, don't be so much in a hurry to drop it. It should be interactive. It's just like if you watch Fan Zone on Super Sports. It's interactive between the caller and those in the studio. So let the call be interactive. Even if the call is going to take...
Can you make your contribution, Okudili? Is that your contribution?
Okay.
Because we are pressed for time. It's not something that's,
It's-
you know,
that's a
under 1 hour,
timing,
we
yeah.
have segments on the program. We have so many things we have to discuss. We have certain people that might call and timing for everything. It's not just free for all. Okudili, this is a 1 hour program, but we end up spending 50 minutes or 55 minutes. It's not something that we can control. So, still talking about these people. Now,
That's the difference between a bandit and a terrorist.
you will now see that
Is that
these people,
ideology.
they've been killing our people, they've been killing Nigerians, they've been making life difficult for the government of Nigeria, for even Nigerians. Investment, they've set those states back for over 40 years backward. And you're saying because of your ideology, you are sponsoring that kind of cause?
Yes, that's the way terrorists operate. The leader of Al Qaeda himself was a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, from one of the richest family in
Yes,
in Saudi Arabia.
yeah, and they had been in the U.S. involved in the oil business for years. He never lacked anything. But you imagine he left all the wealth in the U.S. and relocated to Afghanistan and was living inside caves. A multi-billionaire in dollars, living inside caves up and down.
This ideological thing.
This is ideology that we are talking about. Many people,
would have been indoctrinated
they
soon.
leave their family completely. They don't want to have anything to do. They won't talk to their parents. Look at even the Nigerian who was kidnapped.
Was the son of a very rich man, former bank
The
empty.
underwear bomber.
Yeah, Abdul
Mutalab.
His father remains the biggest banker to come out of northern Nigeria.
Correct.
Biggest banker, his
Most
father,
successful banker.
the most successful, the biggest ever. And even some of the big bankers that we've had in our country, like even the former CBN governor, they were his own, the people that he trained, people that look forward to him. Now you can imagine that boy. Go and read the story. How the father tried everything to make him comfortable.
Yes, in fact, the father complained about it. Yes.
Now, in a house that the man bought and put him there, but did he find the place comfortable? No, he didn't even want to stay.
He was going to Yemen.
Yes, where he was indoctrinated. He will come home, he will not speak to members of his family, he will just stand alone, be operating alone.
He has been radicalized.
Completely. Now, that one, if he's told, go and take a life, he was not going to ask any question. I feel not seen suicide bombers.
They were just lucky that because it was a new technology then.
Yes.
And it was
so the thing, yes, you know,
that was not the first time.
Yes.
Remember, he had made moves.
Yes.
The first time he tried to bomb, it didn't work because they stopped him from getting on that flight. So that was the second time
Even the
that he was
second time,
arrested.
he could have been successful because he had gone into the restroom to go and activate it. But because the thing did not work immediately, so fire was coming out from that band, and somebody that was a commando that was that saw it, and then I was able to grab it. Yes.
And you know where he sat? He sat on top of the tank.
So if the
tank of the plane is located, yes, so that
the plane will have gone down.
Yes, so that once it happens, it's fire. So look, when a man look at Boko Haram, the first suicide bomber, the one that in our country, who went to bomb that police headquarters, you saw the way he was jubilating. He was going to die, but he was happy. He was happy. He had a truthy smile on his face. He was happy that yes,
he was going to martyr himself.
Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm the first person. I'm going. You know, that's what radicalization. That's what is called terrorism. Others are simply, all these other people are simply there to make money. They are not after. They don't even want to die. Now look at what is happening. Imagine bandits begging governors to say, please, we want peace. The true terrorists don't beg you.
They want to die for that cause.
True terrorists don't beg you.
No, they want to die for
Look
that cause.
at Shekau now. The moment they got close to him, he used his suicide belt to kill himself.
Julius is calling us from Oyo State.
Yes. Ayo, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Julius.
Yes, I'm Olushola Julius. I'm from Ibadan, Oyo State capital.
All right.
Jide, good evening, sir. And the
Good
man
evening.
in wine, something, I've forgotten his name. Sorry, sir.
Mayor
Good evening, sir.
Akipelu, please.
Yes. Now, Mr. Mayor, now, honestly, it will do Nigeria a good if these sponsors are being called into order and are being dealt with. You see, they have done a lot of harm to us as a country more than any good. Now, they failed to invest into profitable venture. They now went to invest into terrorism. Mr. President and his handlers should please do Nigerians this good. On the 17th of September, with these people in court, make sure that these people are well arranged and they should speed up this thing. I want to suggest something, that once these people have been punished for this erroneous crime they have committed to the state Nigeria, other people that want to sponsor them will learn from it and they'll be very careful, although they are very stubborn. So they need stubborn approach so that they will be dealt with very well.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Wow, time is fast spent. And finally, it was a tearful end to an emotional final of the 2021 US Open. World number 1, Novak Djokovic, aiming to win a calendar sweep of the tennis majors and the 21st Grand Slam title, lost 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 to Daniil Medvedev. In Sunday's final, Djokovic, who lost the bid to become the first man in more than 50 years to win all 4 tennis majors in the same calendar year, could not contain his emotions once it's dawned on him that he won't win. Mayor.
I feel sad for him, because if he had won that major, he would have been the GOAT, the greatest ever tennis player ever, because he will be winning the calendar slam that Federer and Nadal didn't win. But most importantly, he will have won the 21st major, putting him ahead of both Federer and Nadal. And before the match, he said he was going to look at that match as the biggest in his career. And unfortunately, the pressure was too much on him. He suffered the Serena curse. You know, the Serena curse is Serena Williams was also in that position. Serena had won 3 majors, and Serena was moving to go and win the last major and win a Grand Slam, and then move ahead in majors. But Serena couldn't do it. The pressure was just too much. The same thing happened to Djokovic. Djokovic is somebody that used to play under pressure. Djokovic is somebody who is very good on the baseline. But in that match, he didn't want to get involved in baseline. He kept moving to the net, which is not his match. That is the way Federer plays. He kept coming to the net because, you see, Medvedev is very good when it comes to rallies. He can do 20, 30 rallies. You know, rallies down, each of you returning the ball back to each other. And for one reason, he didn't want to do that. You see him in the middle of the court. He kept coming.
He wanted to turn himself to a serve-and volley player.
He kept coming into the middle. I didn't know why he didn't want to do rallies. He kept, he didn't want to do rallies. And I think part of the problem has to do that physically he was not up to it, because he had all this best of 5 to qualify for the finals. So I think that must have taken a lot out of him, because he was on that. For Medvedev to beat Djokovic in straight sets is shocking.
No, he must have been tired.
It's shocking.
He's Novak Djokovic. He would have worked his way to become one of the greatest.
He certainly would have been the greatest, at least in terms of tennis honors. If we are to judge them, when you look at all the 3 of them play, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and Djokovic, you want to describe Federer as the best ever. Very skillful. In fact, Federer plays with so much ease. You would think that he doesn't run. Yet, his shots, when you talk about the tennis player with the trick shots, no one is like Federer. Everyone thought that Federer, nobody will ever catch up with Federer. But then, Nadal caught up with him. Djokovic too caught up in terms of the Grand Slams won. Now, after the 3 of them came at par, he now had the opportunity to go ahead of the pile. But on that big day, everyone expected him to win. He just couldn't win. In fact, he lost hope midway into the game. He had started crying on that 3rd set.
Yeah, because he knew that.
He had started crying.
Because there won't be this opportunity again.
Yes, it just was not working for him. So he had started crying. This is the most mentally tough tennis player that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yesterday, that mental toughness that enabled them. You know, when you play against someone like Nadal, you've got to be mentally tough to beat him. He had the defensive skills to play, bring anything, he will give it to you. But all that strength of his game eluded him, and this guy was just Medvedev was just.
Everybody was shocked the way he played because he's the best returner in the business. Djokovic is the best returner in the business. Yet he didn't want to get involved in rallies.
Maybe he didn't want to take risks.
It's the pressure. It's the pressure. You know, because when you know that we are on the verge of making history, because for example, he's the only tennis player out of the three of them that have won more than once each major. You understand? Nadal won Australia Open only once and won others. Federer won French Open only once. He had won at least 2 times all the other majors.
Let me take this call from Philip. Philip is calling us from Osun State.
All right. Hello. Good evening. Philip.
Good evening, Philip.
Thank you very much. I love your program. You guys are doing well. I quickly want to make some contributions. Number one, the children that were kidnapped. I want to know, are there any doctors or any health worker working on their psychology? Because seriously, before I see some of these bandits or terrorists will release these children, but I've worked on their psychic. I don't hope we are not building another terrorist that have this ideology in the next probably 4 or 5 years. That's number one. Number two, also I want to know about the morals of our soldiers. I don't know if anything is being done about that because, to be honest, they are human beings too. And they'll be seeing all these things. I don't know. Some of them will feel terrible about it. I don't want to know if the army are working on the morals of our soldiers.
Did you hear him?
Yes.
I got the first one.
It's true. When children go through hell in the hands of bandits and terrorists, they need serious counseling.
Yes.
So that their brains could be reset to normalcy.
They've hardened them.
That's the point that is making. Do we sometimes engage the services of these psychologists to work on them? I doubt if that happens. What you just hear is, they are taking them to the hospital to check them, ensure that they are not ill.
Seen a lot of
that's why we should appeal. That's why we should appeal to the government.
Yes.
That's why we should appeal to the government for them to do that. Because I agree with him. You need psychologists to be able to talk to those kids.
Ayo, look at the students of Bethel secondary school, that Kaduna school. You know, some of them are still there. Those ones who were kidnapped, those students of Federal Government College, Brini Yauri, after about 3 months or so, they are still there. They are still there. At least 90 of them are still there. Now, and those, when they come out, what kind of children are we going to? No,
because if you don't counsel them, if you don't work with them, you will realize that you are building another bandit in another 5-10 years.
Yes.
Because it's orientation.
We don't even know what they are telling them.
Yeah.
No, even I've seen somebody who said that while he was in the bandits then, that they were telling him to come and join them. Yes. You know, all these people, they tell them, look, you are going to enjoy life, come and join us. So it made a point. And then the morale of soldiers. What are we doing about that?
Before we started this thing, we saw the Promise FOG, the sports segment, and we made this comment that the way the younger generations, they're taking over from
tennis.
Especially
the ladies, because Raducanu is the biggest thing to ever happen to tennis in a long time. Raducanu is one 18-year-old girl.
Not even Osaka.
Osaka is even old now. Osaka is like the big girl of tennis now. She had won 2 majors. She's been around. She's the first person that defeated Serena Williams to win the US Open. But the new Raducanu is a new lady on the block, 18-year-old lady who did not lose any set from qualifiers to winning the championship. Not only that, she's the first qualifier to win a major. You know, it's because this is a girl that was even in this is the second tournament that is getting involved in. All the time of the lockdown, the parents insisted that he must face his A levels and go and finish his A levels. So they didn't allow her to travel.
Serena was younger than
they didn't allow her to travel to go and play tennis. So it was a Wimbledon in the fourth. Then now this, and she's winning without dropping a set. The other lady, Fernandez, 19-year-old. She was also, when she started the competition, she was also 18. She's just 19 now, from Canada. These two young ladies are the future of tennis.
I just hope
people like Serena should just.
I just hope so. I've seen a Marat Safin and P. Sampras's career. Fantastic return of serve and all that, and everybody felt, this guy will go places.
Disappeared to tennis.
Suddenly.
No, it was because it was outside. It was issues outside
of those
outside
three. But that's the thing.
No, Raducanu still lives with the parents. No. They are down to her.
Consistency is what I'm talking about. Outside of this old generation, you talk about Serena, for example. Serena's first major was 1997.
Yeah.
The US Open.
Yeah.
And we are still talking about Serena till today. Nobody.
At 39.
Yes, that's what's his name? The Spaniard.
But she has not won a major in a long time. She's retired.
See the points that I'm even going to this left-hander, the Spaniard.
Nadal.
Nadal said they keep saying that they are going to retire us. But after almost 20 years, we are still here. And that's true.
That's true.
That's true. See, consistency to have them dominate. In tennis, we always have two top tennis players. There was a time we had Andre Agassi and P. Sampras dominating for long. But these guys, they will win one major after that.
No, those are the men. The ladies are more. The ladies are better. The ladies are better.
Wow, you agree with me that apart from talking politics, economy, this is another tough now. We're talking sports, and this. Thank you for your all-round knowledge and insight. Thank you. That's why we call him the maestro himself. Thank you for your contribution. Yes, sir.
Back to my state. They didn't want me to come back. Well, I'm back.
And that's our offering. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and don't forget to join us every Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday, 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.